3, 2, and 1. Pecha Kucha.
Hi, my names are Nicole and Michael.
Speak up.
Hi, I'm Nicole Depender. And this is my doom.
Yeah, Pecha Kucha.
On what?
Kenya.
Okay. Pecha Kucha. Let's go. When I say go, we go.
1, 2, 3. Alright, the country that we chose is Kenya. Kenya lies on the eastern coast of Africa. Its borders are as follow. To the north of Kenya lies Ethiopia. To the east of Kenya, Somalia. To the south of Kenya is Tanzania. To the west of Kenya, Uganda. And to the northwest of Kenya lies Sudan.
We chose to do Kenya because we are extremely passionate about animal cruelty and are very concerned with the problems of poaching that is going on in Kenya. Most of the poaching has to do with Somalians coming into Kenya and killing their elephants. However, we learned a vast amount of information regarding the history of Kenya.
Throughout the history of Africa, the British Empire established its own set of borders throughout Africa. These borders made no sense at all. In 1920, Kenya becomes a colony, and it is a government. It has a government with a one-party legislation. This caused chaos.
The British drew borders where they thought would be a good place for separation. Their involvement caused tensions between tribes and groups such as the Mau Mau. The Mau Mau were a group of Kenyans who revolted against the white British man in 1952 up until 1960. They did anything and everything in order to reach their goal.
During the revolts, the Mau Mau leader was believed to be Jomo Kenyatta. Although this turned out to be false, Kenyatta played a huge role in trying to help Kenya obtain its independence from Britain men. Doing so caused Kenyatta to be exiled from Kenya for 15 years. The presence and perseverance is very similar to the threat of Nelson Mandela. He's very...
After Jomo Kenyatta's 15 years of exile was up, he returned to Kenya to finish his job of fighting for Kenya's independence. He was successful the second time around, and Kenya gained its independence on December 12, 1963. Kenyatta became Kenya's first post-independence leader, their president.
As with every leadership comes some sort of enemy. Like the United States has Al-Qaeda, Kenya has Al-Shabaab, a group of terrorists that work with Al-Qaeda. Al-Shabaab is located in Somalia, but because they lie on the border of Kenya and Somalia, Al-Shabaab targets close to it.
Al-Shabaab's first gig was the bombing of the U.S. Embassy in 1998. This was the first time that Al-Shabaab became a serious threat to the African country of Kenya. This bombing killed 224 people, including 12 Americans. Al-Shabaab also comes into Kenya to do illegal poaching for ivory. Al-Shabaab gets 40% of its money from the poaching of elephants. Poaching is a serious crime. Poaching elephants consists of cutting off the tusks and sometimes even the trunk. In 1960s, Kenya had 35,000 elephants. By the late 1980s, Kenya had only 6,500. This is an 80% decrease.
Elephants have souls. Studies have shown that elephants have feelings. There's also been studies that have shown that elephants bury their dead. Like, they don't actually bury them in the dirt, but they bury them underneath a tree, and they show respect to the dead. And they mourn their dead. And they also have feelings. Elephants are a big deal.
Because of illegal selling...
This was mine. As all illegal allegations come, another serious problem. The black market is where illegal things are sold. The black market was created during World War II. It was created to trade and sell without the government knowing or being involved. It sold things such as metal because the government wanted metal during World War II.
Because of illegal selling, the problems with the economy can change drastically. Kenya's economy is based mostly off of agriculture and tourism. That is how Kenya gets most of its money into its country. Exporting their goods is another way Kenya gets its money flowing. Kenya also has preserves for endangered animals. These preserves bring in tourism.
One thing that really affected the economy was in 1873 during the slave trade. Africans were viewed as different because their skin tone was darker than what was normal in Europe. Although Americans took slaves from the west coast of Africa, the Middle East originally took slaves from the eastern coast, including Kenya. They took the slaves, they brought them up, and they were sold.
Ever since the taking of slaves from Kenya, the Kenyans have been behind from the rest of the world. like outside of Africa. The only way to make things better for Kenya is through education and human capital. However, this is very hard to find in Kenya, so people will leave to a first world country, learn, and not come back. This is called diaspora.
Why people wouldn't want to return to Kenya is beyond us. Kenya has natural beauty. That's rare to the rest of the world. While when we look outside, we see buildings and roads. If you're in Kenya, you see a vast majority of the country itself, the wildlife, and the natural beauty that it holds. It's very beautiful. I read that fast.
One movie that is a very good representation of the wildlife and beauty of Kenya is The Lion King. The Lion King takes place in Kenya and is basically Hamlet, but with lions. Even this, there are elephants in the graveyard. They are important, after all. You also see some culture in the musical with masks.
Yeah. Alright. The First Grader is a great movie that is based on a true story of one Maruje. He's an 84-year-old man and he's uneducated. It takes place in 2003 when the Kenyan government declares a free primary education to all. He sees this as a way to better himself and goes back to school. He sees flashback of the time he was in the Mau Mau, which was the terrorist group.
With every problem, there is a cause. In the beginning, the British did horrible things to keep order. Over the years, they established an honest relationship with Kenya, learning from their mistakes. This in turn led to other nations, such as the U.S., to get involved. Today, both are Kenya's closest allies and trade partners.
These relationships happened because of the EACSO, or East African Common Service Organization. It was created in 1961 and brought Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda together. Seeing this as an opportunity to gain materials and an ally, both the U.S. and Great Britain decided to give them more support. Later, Kenya would join the United Nations in 1963. Since then, they've slowly been getting better.
In the end, the Pecha Kucha brought Mike and I together closer than we have ever been. We fought, struggled, cried, punched, and kicked each other, but overall, we got this done and could not be happier that we never again have to use this. Because the Pecha Kucha means chit-chat and not go out in the web and find pointless information and throw it together while your teacher's in D.C. having a grand old time while you're left to fend for yourself.